All right, you guys, so what we're going to do first is we're going to review our learning intentions. So first, our content intention is that students will identify the social structure of France and explain the three estates of French society. Students will use language like clergy, peasants, and nobility to explain who benefited from different social titles in France. And then lastly, our social intention is that students will work together with their table group to identify three problems with the social structure in mid-18th century France. Compare side by side our learning intentions and the exemplar's response to each question. Number 1 and number 2, do they meet our learning intentions? So the three things we're going to do: circle the claim, underline evidence, and determine if they use reasoning or not. How might that be? Is there any reasoning for that, or do they just give us a statement and move on?
It's just a statement, so I think it's just all evidence.
Okay, so it's just all evidence. Yeah, that's kind of my thinking on it. And so what's missing?
The reasoning.
Yeah, would reasoning make it stronger, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. What do you think is their reasons for the first one? So they say...
They're saying because the third estate has to pay all taxes, and then the first and second estates don't pay at all.
Okay, do they explain why that is?
They don't.
Or they just assume that's just how it's supposed to be?
Okay, wait. I think they just assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think they could benefit from saying why?
Yeah. They could probably say like, they can. The third estate pays taxes because they're out of lower class or something.
Okay, yeah. So build on that. Because, right? And we're always looking for the word because. That's a great way to see our reasoning.
I think taxes is the way that the clergy and the nobility make their money, right?
Yeah, that's how they make their money, right? Who owns all the land?
The clergy and nobility.
So, yeah, and so how do you keep poor people staying poor?
Keep taking their money.
Right? So you said...
I said it's because they're out of the lower class and paying taxes the way the clergy and nobility make their money.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now that you've done that with the first example, I want you to pull up the green worksheet, example number 2. And what I want you to do is do the same thing with example number 2. And I'd like you to compare the two examples. After looking at the first one, though, do you notice anything? Which one do you think is better for the question 1 answer between these two?
This one.
Why?
Because it has more information and reasoning, even though it doesn't have a claim, it's just better explained.
So more info, more reasoning, more explaining. I think that's a really good insight. So look for those things. See if that happens again in the second one, all right?
What I mean by is that when the paragraph is bigger, like, yeah, obviously it could be bigger and they could say nonsense, but they're explaining more about how the third estate did not have as much privilege as the clergy.
Okay, so if we want to explain what we need to do to be successful, what does this one do that makes it successful at doing these things?
This one, it's identifying the three problems. It's also explaining them at the same time. So it's identifying, and then from there it's
Does this one identify and explain?
This one just identifies, but it doesn't explain it.
Awesome. What about using language? Do they use the vocab that we've been working on?
Clergy, nobility, peasants.
Awesome.
They're using all three.
Awesome. And you guys work together to do this. And that's what's awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for talking this with me. So when we look at the yellow example number 1, do they identify the evidence that we're looking for the three estates? Angel?
Yes.
They do?
They identify it to some extent. They just say what each class is, but it doesn't explain who they are, what power they have.
Okay, so they give us the evidence, they don't give us the reasoning, right? And then can I get somebody else? Do they use the vocab language that we're looking for, Nico?
Not as much as the other one, no.
Not all the way, right. How about the second example, the one on the green paper? Does the green paper identify the three estates of French society?
Yes.
Does it explain? Do they go further than just identifying? Do they give us answers about it, Noor?
Yeah.
They do, perfect. And how about using language? Does the second example use all the language we're looking for? Anelli?
Yes.
Is one of these better than the others? Antonio, which one do you think is better?
Example 2.
You think example 2 is better? I agree with you. So looking at our learning intentions one last time and thinking about these 2 examples we worked on, what is one thing that you think we're going to want to do when we answer this so that we're successful?
I think we should identify first before explaining it.
What do you think that these 2 examples identify?
They identify so one identifies the 3 estates.
Okay.
And then the other one identifies the social inequality.
Okay. How many examples of social inequality do you think we want to find, class? Noor? How many?
3.
3? Yeah. What kind of language do we need to use today to be successful? Anelli, if you were going to put it in a sentence, what can you do with the vocab to show you're successful?
I can use the unit vocab to explain or to, I don't know.
Could someone help her out? Cameron, what do you think?
I can use the unit vocabulary to explain how things or how life was back then.
Yeah, awesome. So that's really awesome, you guys. I feel really confident with these 3 success criteria.